Welcome to Open Minds, Open Mic, the place to be on a Friday night. We have a very special delight for you. A room full of poets just nipping at the bit, ready to get it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. It's 4:19. The show on the East Coast most likely will roll over to 4:20. So my wife, who is an avid marijuana user, wanted me to read my little weed poems I got. So I call this one Breathe Weed. Breath, breathing, seemingly to perform complex chemistry, fusing diluted many gases, past this, now past that, the past waiting for the future to grab slack, burn it back, don't return it whack, I like my blunt stacked, real sticky icky, no bullish, I'm done with that, twigs and seeds and cash bowls, I'm too old for the nonsense, I want that bomb sense, Amelia. Twisted type, the type of herb that'll kill ya. 2 puffs and I'm done. Pass it on. I laugh long while my left lung itches, shivers and twitches. I'm in stitches, wishing I didn't spit this. I'm ridiculous. That was it. This is a silly one. This one's called This Morning. I woke up this morning, right on time. No more morning, just vibrant chimes. Heavenly bells resonating in my skull. Took a deep breath in and stood tall. Reached toward the sky, grateful for all my aches and pains simply melted away. What a glorious day, I said to myself, grateful for my health and my life. My wife smiled and gave me a kiss. Swimming in pure bliss, I started to frolic and skip, even did a little twist. Ending up outside, sun in my eyes, the warmth matched my pride. Head held high, mind at ease. Whispers from the trees told me to believe that I could do anything. This must be a dream. Am I awake? Is this fate? Is my life this great? If so, I accept this blessing. No more stressing, no grief, such a relief. Finally at peace, a place my demons can't reach. Did I breach into a new reality? Better check the gravity. Falling backwards, I close my eyes. As my body crashes down, I realize this must be real life. I think I just woke up, still high. Thanks y'all for indulging my madness.
Yay!
Woohoo! Yeah, I love it, Tommy. Love it.
All right, so now for real poet coming up next, we got Lantern Carrier. If you could bless us with some word, brother, I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, and happy bicycle day.
Okay. United in this love. For we are in light as golden sparks, moving in symmetry to the cause and effect of this cyclical game. The vicissitude way. The waves we sail upon, the ashen clouds on which we drift, are naught but the sweet chords of the beloved's music. The lost forest roamed in yesteryears are the blooming flowers of today's sunset, the redolent blossoms of tomorrow's radiant sunrise. Each now is the morn of another daybreak that keeps our flames burning. The winds of transformation lies within each sacred heart. Nothing happens without the inner rhapsody. The translucent heavens are a projection of its luster, the oceans but a glimmer of its breath. We're in this dance as wayfarers, traveling on a GPS all mapped out for us in a journey of self-transcendence, a gift of love. Our fears, our challenges are but the veil of the invisible, cloaking our hopes with shadows, yet hugging and kissing our souls with sunlight, replenishing new life. Nature whispers of its flames like a row of golden lanterns. The skylark sings of the songbird of the soul. Night heralds the incandescent moon. Dawn invokes songbearers, so hearts can be citadels of beauty. Winter inevitably dissipates, so we can enjoy the grandeur of spring flowers. We exist to dream on the supernal lap of wonder, to blend with lava in the peerless visions of the unknown. That was poem one. I'll do a final one. It's called Even as the Butterfly. Even as the butterfly, let's find it, keeps on flying. In a playful mood, he made a moth out of paper which fell to the floor. The cool breeze carried it outside, where it was trampled upon by divide and conquer, seeking some malicious pleasure. It rolled and rolled into the city, got caught in the chaos of moving traffic. Freeing itself with the help of the wind, it continued its forward journey. Stomped upon with willful disdain, it took a while to rise again, but the butterfly kept on flying. Life batters me within, without, below and above, small joy, no love. Plumes of smoke descend from above, and the flames of demons rages in hearts. The cold intensity of greed masks the pain of insecurity and fear, while loneliness stabs my soul with shadowy clusters of darkness. Who is right and who is wrong? In a world of supremacy and division, hypocrisy, innuendos, and misinformation rule the day. The loop of war and talk of peace continues, yet I must rise, for the wheels of yesterday's unlearned lessons spills on my poetry like painful scars. Coming from ancient unhealed wounds, they engage my realities with distant wars, covering the light of my spirit with veils of injustices and copious tears. I use co-interests as another name for stolen labor, distribution of lands and resources that never really belonged to me, remain complacent while countries are fought over, fanning my greed for the fuel and strategic locations. Cosmic laws seems resigned to the fact that only chaos will change my nature. Lying on the memories of history's terror, I die 1,000 deaths. The corporate is playful at his desk, with time to kill. As such, he tramples on my anxieties with much contempt. I pray spring's daffodils will soon arrive, so my light will shine with splendor, more grandiose than the rising sun. I spin on a wheel with so much challenges. Inequity and discrimination are my nemesis, even as I seem to come out of my rut, and the casinos of Vegas rob me even more of my repute. I become broken, lost, as if in a Shakespearean tragedy. I am the songs and radiance of paradise, the very fragrance that encourages the rose to unfurl its heart to the zenith of beauty. Yet, chained to my apprehensions, the dark sail of illusion binds me. I'm afraid of death, uncertain of life. Peace evades me like the tail of a dog, and I roll on the streets like paper moths, trampled upon with merciless ease. Still, I rise. Anything can be conquered with harmonious oneness. All can be illumined by the light of love. Be brave, O lantern, a new dawn will rise, even as the butterfly keeps on flying. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Unmute yourselves and give it up for Lantern Carrier.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
thank you
gorgeous,
so
Lantern.
much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Great
guys.
work.
Thank you.
And we
Thank
want to
you.
hear the Lantern and Paul Skiff collab that you guys are gonna work on. That's gonna be dope. All right, so coming up next, we have Karen Melander-Magoon. if you would like to bless us with some words, I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. I feel blessed. Beautiful lantern. Wonderful way to start us out. The butterfly I still see flying there. I'm going to start with a poem about our first poet, who happened to be a woman. At least that's how I read it. Anyway, her name is Enheduanna. First known poet, a woman, was born to a king. The king found as an infant in a reed basket, like Moses, raised in a garden, nurtured by a goddess. He, the baby Sargon, beloved of Inanna, became cupbearer to the king and later king himself, unifying his kingdom Akkadian and the Sumerians he conquered. His daughter he named priestess of Sumeria to be their link to heaven and poet, first known poet. Enheduanna, who wrote her poems and histories of the goddesses and gods on limestone cuneiform discs, imprinted with her words and with her image, words of praise for Inanna, her beloved goddess. And him surviving 4,000 years became the story of gods through the ages, told by the stylus of the first poet, the woman, Enheduanna. And here's a tiny poem about flower and fog. Fog flower. The fog rose in, edges of a lump of fairy flower needed by the gods. Bits of flower flying far above while gods press the flower with their bare hands, pushing it across the bay, then lift it, thin and transparent, to place within the bowl of the sky. Okay. And this is a poem. I like writing poems about animals and their idiosyncrasies as if they were almost human. The story of two egrets, and my favorite bird, I think, is the snowy egret. So, but there's the gross egret, you know, there's the big one, and one of them has, the snowy egret has a black bill and yellow paws, yellow, you know, paws. And the big egret has a yellow bill and black feet. So anyway, the story of two egrets. The snowy egret with a black bill and yellow feet hovers above the bay, darting down gracefully to catch a fish. The great egret with yellow bill and black feet stands upon the rocks, preening his plumage. The cormorant swims below, rising up to flap enormous wings above the water to dry its feathers, while the snowy egret watches, enamored of the great egret with a yellow bill and black feet, wishing they were compatible, flies down to dance about his feathers, pirouetting on her yellow feet, tossing her wind-brushed feather crown until the great egret slips into the bay, then rises far above, yellow bill into the wind, flying far, far away. And the little snowy egret rises on her yellow feet, the wind brushing her white feathers in a snowy crown, flies up and farther up until she and the clouds ride on the wind in harmony with a golden sunset and a silver moon. Thank you.
I love that. I love the egrets too. Up in
Wow,
South
that
Florida, they
was
would always be in
beautiful.
our
Thank
Really
you.
backyard.
wanted to be compatible with a big egret, but you know,
Yeah,
just was not going to work out. So
right.
I've got another little animal poem. The Little Goose. Once there was a little goose who simply couldn't honk. The other geese tried to help him, but he could not honk. One day they all had to fly away to Canada, and the little goose had to go with them, but he lost his way when a big helicopter scared him, and he flew in the wrong direction. Suddenly he knew he was alone, and he was so frightened. He honked and was startled at his own voice. But the other geese, who were worried and had circled round the sky, heard the little goose and came back to get him. They told him what a wonderful honk he had, and they all flew to Canada together.
I love that.
That's it.
Everybody, unmute yourselves and give it up for Miss Karen Melander-Magoon.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Alright.
Awesome
Yeah.
little goose. My little goose flew off to Canada too.
I sure did.
Oh, you're her little goose.
Yeah, I flew off to Canada. Thank you so much for those pieces. Those are beautiful, Karen, as always. And I hope you have a wonderful night tonight. Oh, yeah. Coming up next, we've got Dre Reyes, who is going to be the host of the soon to be revised Slam Jam Saturdays. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. It's going to be within like the next couple of weeks here. We're going to launch it again. And we're going to spark that launch off with the feature on one of the bye weeks. So, yeah, Dre, if you can unmute yourself and bless us with some word, brother, I'd appreciate it.
What's happening, fam? Dre Ray coming at you. Yeah. So word has it, Slam Jam is coming back. It's confirmed. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I already got some features lined up. You'll find out when you find out. Just know that there are gears turning, so stay tuned. Now on with the poetry. So I got some two poems here. Well, I got one older piece from like 2012 and one that I wrote last December because Thomas here reminded me of it recently. So let's start off with the older piece. I read this a long time ago. It's called NES S&M. This cougar of a Nintendo Entertainment System hungers for something inside her. She wants something with the right game, something that clicks, something that fits just right. The gamer, the Nintendo's longtime partner, whips out a copy of Blaster Master and fills her insides raw. The gamer pressed on Nintendo's clitoris, the power button, that's her turn on, if you will, in an attempt to get things rolling. First attempt failed. Time for a little foreplay. A dry blowjob. A couple of spanks. Whoosh, whoosh. Slide that bad boy back in. Second attempt failed. Okay, it's time to play dirty, which is ironic because we're trying to clean this motherfucker. Time to call forth the tiny white double-sided dildos dipped in rubbing alcohol. In the trenches you go, but just the tip, the Q-tip. Sticking it inside the cartridge, cleaning off the dust inside. This trick is a fail-safe. The third time's a charm. Blaster Master's inside her, impregnating the TV screen with nostalgia. Poem. Yeah, oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, fucking A, I love that one, man. Anyone who's owned an original Nintendo felt that, man. Like, that was dope.
Now, this other piece I got here, as mentioned before, is showcased before. I've done letters, like mock letters of old cartoon characters, to each other, and I did like an experimental piece. If anybody grew up watching Doug on Nickelodeon, then there's a chance you knew that at one point Doug ended up on Disney. So there's like two different universes of Doug, if you will. So I have made a poem, a letter of Skeeter Valentine moving away from Nickelodeon Bluffington and into Disney Bluffington and writing back to Bluffington Doug. So this is Skeeter writes to Doug. Hey, Doug. I hope this letter gets to you somehow. It's been very weird getting used to living in this other Bluffington in Disney County. Disney County feels like something out of a scary movie where I'm living in a haunted parallel universe. Get this, Doug. Everyone here kind of looks and sounds like everyone at home. And I mean everyone. Well, almost everyone. They have a Connie here who looks skinnier than the one back home. Word has it that she went to a thing called a beauty farm and came back looking like a completely different person. I'm not kidding you. People here have negative views of themselves. It's kind of sad. Even Raja lives here, but he's filthy rich. richer than BB Bluff. Oddly enough, the middle school is named after her and shaped her head, like for some reason. And then she ended up losing all of her fortune. This Roger, though, still has a mean streak like the one that we know, but he isn't going out of his way calling me Skeet Face. Mayor White is Principal White here, and Principal Bone is Assistant Principal Bone here at BB Bluff Middle School. If you think that isn't weird enough, they have a version of you and your family with a baby sister named Dirt Bike. Don't ask me how or why your clone family decided to pick that name. It's almost as if they had some kind of terrible contest to pick a name like that. True story, there was. Along with no honker burger, this place seems like this place claims that the Beats broke up. Is it true, Doug? Did they really break up, or is this town gaslighting me to think that? And if they didn't break up, why would everyone lie about it to me and even go as far as to live this lie? I don't know, man. Nobody claims to know about Nickelodeon County here, and I feel really out of place. I miss hanging out at the Honker Burger. I miss playing air guitar to the sounds of the beats. I miss going on adventures with Pork Chop. I miss our Bluffington. I miss you, man. I miss how home used to feel. I remember that one time I thought I was moving. In reality, I was moving my room to the basement. I wish this last move was to move back up to that first room. I hope you've been well, and I hope to hear from you soon. Your best pal, Mosquito Valentine. Home. Thank
Yo,
you.
so dope. Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Dre Reyes.
Dre, woo, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We looking forward to the Slam Jam coming back, man. That's gonna be cool. And I hear you got some amazing guest coaches lined up. Yo, we got some cool people coming in. There's gonna be guest coaches when the Slam Jam relaunches. Make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Coming up next, though, we are gonna be just entering into the skip verse. Paul, if you could bless us with some words, brother, I'd appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. Nintendo has a clitoris. I didn't know that, but it tells me how it got to be so popular. Just have one poem here. It has a title. Let me try and get it on the screen. Outbound Part 1. It's just kind of travels around a lot. It's kind of one of those internal landscapes. And it starts out with a scene of how to describe it, a train party. People used to organize parties on the subway. I never hear about them anymore, but I think it's because the authorities got wise to them. Anyway, that's just how this starts out. Equilibrium tooted by stoned tuba player, lip jabbers within trombone. Stumble black kaleidoscope teeters downbeat flow honks. Ignites 120 passengers to pogo dance in unison on top of our looted from midnight train whose car lamps stutter locked moments. Jumpers frozen midair in the flashes. Law and order blow a fuse, popped while roiling above the avenue where civilization is stomped under wild bounce from 8 tons of humanity, animal joy between floor and soul of each airborne foot, the same two sprung inflated seconds, fat and engorged world busted open from cage of human negatives, fluctuating short circuit laughter mob, grabs same liberty as freedom ghost that robs rationality from empty shopping bag, hot updraft lazily glides off seared street to sail over 7-story roofs where my naked back upon gritty tar paper I loiter gift wrapped by late July's 8 o'clock at night sunshine. On extreme voyage of weightless liberty, indulged volition proliferating, I open my trillion live cells to nature's boasting portion. My own body escapes with inertia, hunger, and vision like the floating bag, announcing clemency through loophole in city's dim, withering law of over-organization, the bag stuffed only with empty shadow, primordial mouth meditated by solitary appetite, witness of my eyes. Shadow well ascends into thunderhead, described for my stomach nurturing organ that a week before fed my feet their downpour up into the science house of judgment and punishings, where folding gravity arguments into floating vessel, I glided the change prayer, American backwardness, towards the face of a congressman, but his calloused gravedigger lips fossilized, embalmed in hypocrisy as family photo smile, enshrined as bourgeois living room mask, were frozen by the law-making pessimistic alibi singer's dry, tight heart. The elevator raising horse connection with world to Mr. Chili's vocal cords was stalled between remote sympathies counting to numb infinity like a castigating whip. There among spittle of stalled promises, as if on a trash can lid, ancient feeble pigeon, defecating prison terms and cut rate influence, citizen torpid abdicates from the house of human progress to choose tangled amnesties of final breath, immune cough promise, backwardness, mocks curative vision, slurs prosperity into docket numbers intoned by equality's bankruptcy. His tongue's sterile eloquence rattles privilege over once hospitable doorstep, now self-evident truth dragged slow by dim ambition upon massive mile of indifference made from stone condolence, severed touch, grinding oratory jolts muscles beneath face, frigid flinch, ungovernable as berserk anger compressed against trigger upon instant of decision, blasted empty with finality to launch corpse in pursuit of happiness mid-farce. We feel trauma in unison, not collected in sympathetic impulse at sight of sufferers' anguish, but fixated on reflections of the murderer's violence. Peering through my own telescopic breaths, I spy upon life as it were, whisper, count, and magnify the atrocious verdicts inflated by legislated distances within and between cadaverous numbers to know if human ignorance patterns itself after infinity, populated by scarce choices. Morning sunlight, perhaps, silhouettes hope, that child's anticipation. But 200 miles crossed at 30,000 feet over atrophy land, where charred instant between bureaucratic murder and model citizen become melted circuit of lost vision plugged by sociopathic grief, instructs me with minuscule vistas of silent freeways that disconnect 400 years from human understanding to pace down a congressman's tongue. Flight of rioting cross-purpose and rampant discontinuity, 1,200,000,000 soundless chambers in heart of mute election erupt, multiply, flee in their own directions, swallow delirium again, dissolving the promise of coherent civility. So I inoculate myself with refusal's quenched expanse, continuous and whole, loved by liberatory rejection unquantified. As a sanctuary of ordinary life, my fingers return immune to flock about black, fleshy plum, whose juice will lubricate and arouse the choiring of vulva in Miguel's throat, so he births a laughing bomba song about the city council ensorcelled by sexual rhymes to pay for a sign that renames East 3rd Street as Reverend Pedro Pietri Way. The Reverend's reliquary briefcase stuffed full with condoms that spill through the audience's laughter of embarrassment as the one memory impregnating each person. Orgasming upon the spine of 2nd Street, Miguel tolerates my sacrifice of empty day when I run symbol for infinity around him to hump his name with my mouth. His stamina, naked consent, given the dignity splitter on my face. Climax, chance ride he taught me to straddle with musical groin of clave that plunges its tendons against my pulse. I'm just going to stop there because it goes on for much longer. Thank you.
Fucking A, Skiff. Thank you. Everybody, please unmute yourselves and give it up for the Jedi Master himself, Paul.
Ooh, yeah. That's a fun Friday night gift day. Ooh, Paul Skip.
Yo, and with the new computer, the way, because I love how you always get to where you're like half in, half out. And now it's like this ethereal cloud of like fog and smoke, the way it's capturing you too. And it's like, it's pretty cool, man. So the new
I have
PC
to
is
work
working out,
on
man.
that.
Yeah, you
I
got to
have
work
to
on the
work.
light. I think it's the way that it captures your camera, like, because you used to
Yeah.
like, oh, I get that perfect fade.
Play around with it some more. Thanks, everybody. It's great to be here again and see everybody. And my ears are hungry for what you're gonna say.
Yo, everybody, unmute one more time. Give it a false gift.
Yeah, Paul. Fantastic work.
And Skiff, you've been around for a while, and it's like the first time I got you in the room, I found you at New Yo, and I'm like, you need to come to my open mic. Like, I love your shit, and you haven't left since. except for a few days, where life gets in the way, but I appreciate that. So, coming off of that, I want to appreciate this new person that we have. We have a new poet tonight, old Cyrus. So, old Cyrus, before you spit, I want everybody in here just to unmute themselves and give a big open mind, open heart, open arms welcome to old Cyrus.
Welcome, old Cyrus. Yeah.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
Woo.
Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome.
About time you found your way here.
I appreciate everybody. Peace and love. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm just getting my poem together. All right, I got a love poem. Got a little 420 reference in the end. I've been editing this poem for the last 2 weeks, so just bear with me. She tells me, who are you? Where did you come from? You're rare. To myself, then out loud, who do you have around you? Why do these men who claim to care not pay attention when you talk? No one to know how you tick, where to itch, how to scratch, explore the places that make you tickle. What's so rare about genuinely caring? Taking insecurities and making them obsolete, catapulting dreams and ambitions to the pinnacles of Orion's belt, changing doubt into a bat out of hell, sympathizing with a corroded childhood, verbally, physically, sexually abused, and ignored innocence reduced to squalor. Because those scars that stain you demonstrate the brave you. Never allow someone to let your dreams sit stagnant in the cesspool of doom. Nurture that. I keep hearing, chivalry is dead. Is that coming from a woman that's too independent, who can't acknowledge or appreciate preferential treatment? Or are you becoming complacent with the bare minimum? I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. If I don't, I'm barbaric. If I do, I'm a stage 5 clinger. Feminists are confusing these acts to be sexist, benevolent sexism, an ideology that perpetuates gender inequality. Fuck that. If I want you, I'm going to do what I got to. I'm going to stare in your eyes and listen till you recognize it's all about you, or until you show me different. The real problem is we have mere boys dressing a part of real men who lack fundamental upbringing, or just pretend not to keep up with trends and fads, or was it their missing dads, or the ones that did have only grasped how to make a woman sad? The love I received was from my mom, and the love I will give will have the same intensity I have for my kids. If I love you, there's nothing I won't do. I'm going to stare in your eyes and listen till you recognize it's all about you. What would you do? Would you stay faithful during your husband's deployment at war, when those lonely days and nights turns into months and years? When he returns, missing his legs and his ears, could you pick up the pieces and push his wheelchair? Could you hold your man down while being locked up, sentenced to a 6-year bid for hustling, trying to put food in the fridge? Can you keep your legs closed, drive 8 hours with the kids just for 1 hour to give them a hug and a kiss? Or are you man enough to see your life fight for her life when that chemo sets in and her hair loses life? Would you go to the mall and shop for some wigs, then tell her she's beautiful, like you once did? Because if you did, the significance of your actions will be worth more than that Benz. What's life in the end without your best friend, your next of kin? I'd rather be poverty-stricken and in love with the phenomenal woman than wealthy with resentment with the woman whose soul is naked. Because if I love you, there's nothing I won't do. I'm going to stare in your eyes and listen until you recognize it's all about you. You see, what really gets me is the scent of your perfume. You have me floating through the room, chasing you like Pepe Le Pew. I want to love you like Kanye loves Kanye. Pause. Or should I say no Diddy? I might just pull up in your city, send you flowers to your job to make your female co-workers get giddy. Let's take a trip to Tahiti, grab a jacuzzi room, light some candles and set the mood. Let's slow things down like it's chopped and screwed. I want to be into you like when the sun meets the moon, a solar eclipse, as I peel back your rose petal lips. Witness this hummingbird kiss as it facilitates your silk cream nectar to float and drip. How's that? I'ma rock your boat to the rhythm of a hi-hat. Roll up the blunt wrap, but there's no need to smoke. I'll have you high off love that'll make you choke. My love is the epitome of addiction. It's dope. Boom.
Yo, hold up. Before you spit that second piece, everybody unmute yourselves and welcome home old Cyrus.
Yeah, great work, old Cyrus. Wow.
Thank you for
Appreciate
that.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That was dope. Wow. Woo.
I love
Yeah.
the weed shout out at the end to it. Let's twist up a blunt. Hey, yeah, if you
So
got
many
another
good
piece for us, man.
lines. So
Yeah,
many good lines. You know, you got to come back.
for sure. And yeah, if you got a second piece for us too, man, we'd really appreciate it, brother.
I'm sorry, man. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go to a basketball game. But thank you for the opportunity, man. I love your platform. I definitely will be back next time. And peace and love to everybody. Have a great weekend. And I'll see y'all soon.
Definitely, man.
Peace.
Thanks for
Peace.
showing up.
Glad you
Good
came.
luck at the
Have a good
game,
one.
bro. Slam dunk on him. Hit the three, from off the corner, bro. You got this, homie.
I'm
Good
gonna
looks,
try. I'm gonna
man.
try.
Yeah, have a wonderful evening, man. Thanks for coming through, man. Much love.
Peace and love, man. Later.
All right, so coming up next on the list, we've got host of Monday night's Chaos Magic, the Magus, Gustav Sallas. Happy Bicycle Day, brother.
Happy Bicycle Day, Thomas, Catalyst, beloved poets. I'm excited to be here. Yes, I do host with Catalyst Chaos Magic Monday nights, 8 p.m. sharp. It is a wild time with poets who read one original generally and one cover poem of a favorite beloved poet or song. We are having a good time over there on Monday nights. Come check us out. Bring your magic. I have two poems for Bicycle Day. What is Bicycle Day, you may ask? Well, here it goes. This is Bicycle Day. On April 19th, 1943, Albert Hofmann ingested 250 micrograms of LSD. The Swiss chemist began to feel intense changes in his perception. Thus began his cosmic consciousness reception. He got on his bicycle to go home, but hallucination followed him as he did roam through the streets of Basel, his hometown. He feared he was having a breakdown. But soon enough, his trip turned pleasant. Kaleidoscopic visions were omnipresent. Colors, sounds, and shapes all shifted as through his mind the visions drifted. Albert had synthesized a powerful psychoactive substance for altering consciousness amongst us. For this, we celebrate Bicycle Day, when Albert Hofmann discovered a new way to open the doors of the hidden mind, a gift he gave to all mankind. And this piece, the second piece is called Multiverse Mirror. I have to share about the time I did window pane LSD and looked in the mirror to see me, my past, present, future all melted with my face. A singularity opened up in its place, total oneness in time and space. Thoughts all vanished without a trace. Visions of existence, multidimensional. Whatever this was, it wasn't conventional. And just like that, it disappeared. A hallucination, just something weird that happened one day long ago. I promise to never forget it, though. The feeling's hard to maintain, a magic trick of the brain. Every time I do hallucinogens now, the feeling returns, that forever wow, vast oneness of all things, a multiverse of super strings. Thank you very much. Love you all.
Yo, thank you. Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for the Magus.
Megan. Window pane. Yeah.
My mom remembers that.
I wish we could still get window pane.
We used to have fun with that in the day.
I
Woohoo!
got some decent stuff.
Orange sunshine. I'm a
Gustav, I
60s
think you really captured it in those poems. So thanks. It got me very
They gave my
nostalgic.
mom a flashback even.
Yeah, right.
All right, thank you so much, Gustav. We're gonna keep this show rolling. Coming up next, we've got Coral Rites. Coral, if you could bless us with some words, I'd greatly appreciate it.
My name is Coral Rites with an R, like a rite of passage, because I write passages to find pathways, to rewrite past ways until we open our third eyes and finally realize we all have divinity inside. And the only piece that I am going to perform tonight, I wrote today. I was feeling unhinged, so it's a lot of fun. It's called I Hate the Word Demisexual. I'm everybody's best friend, so you can't be mine, but I can still be yours. You can be my romantic partner, but just so you know, so are all my friends. Perhaps you were looking for more? The depth of our emotional penetration is based on the depth you're willing to open. How much are you willing to let me witness? How much of me are you able to handle? How much of you will you let me how much of you will you let me please? How much of me will you be willing to tease? Play with me, dip heat on me from your candle, drip heat on me. Sorry. Play with me, drip heat on me from your candle. If you can't hold a candle to my heart energy, you don't deserve to rock me like a vandal. I'm not so sure I care if you touch me cleverly, but I do need you to massage my heart expertly. Know where to place pressure and where to allow for release. Make me sweat like I'm risking everything, placing a bet, going all in. It's a double jeopardy. I am not fragile. I won't break. It's okay if it stings. Tell me what is real. Ground me into my body, into this reality. I will not waste this opportunity to feed you my yin. Can you see me? How I am bent but not broken, how I take in your words and hear the ones felt but never spoken. The depth of our emotional penetration is based on the depth you're willing to open. How much are you willing to let me witness? How much of me are you able to handle? Do you have a handle on the nature of change? Can you handle if my yang slips into conversation? Do you understand the law of equivalent exchange? We can't create something from nothing. Sometimes in order to build, you must dismantle, dig deep into the earth and create the channel. Channel the waters, let grooves flood with wetness. Build up the soil until it's lush and substantial. We can only plant seeds once we've passed this litmus. This connection has to be a direct sow, no indirectness. You can't be my best friend, but I can be yours. And I can't pretend I'm not a fountain of romantic emotion for the many loves I have chosen. But I can promise the depth of our emotional penetration is based on the depth you're willing to open. So, if you're still looking for more, then you should know I am willing to explore.
Yo, before you get it, you're not allowed to read your second piece until we all unmute and give it up for the greatness, which was that poem. Like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
Phenomenal.
awesome.
Fantastic
Yeah,
work. How
thank
much of
you.
me are you able to handle? Just
The truth
fantastic.
has spoken.
Yeah,
Right.
labels about people's sexuality always get to me because no matter how respectful or on point, they always just seem limiting and confining to me.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that piece. That was so dope.
I was only going to read that one, but I guess I can read another one.
Yeah, we want more.
Okay. I wrote this, where is it? I wrote this at the beginning of April when I had to start going back into the office. Worst fucking thing. Anyway, this is called The Transcendentalism of Fluorescent Lighting, and just for the record, I wrote this while I was at work because, well, you'll find out. April is the cruelest of months. Back to the office after 4 years, I'm starting to remember how I survived working in an office all those years before I either disassociated or I wrote poetry, face staring at the screen as if I'm writing an email, but instead I'm trying to escape the reality that is this dry air, weird smells, God-forsaken phones ringing, people laughing through masks, not the physical kind, but the ones as plastic as this clacking keyboard, the kind that keeps us separated like my spirit is from the husk of my body, sitting in this misshapen chair, my spirit a mere projection, the real deal left behind for safekeeping, nestled in a soft, luscious blanket, sipping tea in my favorite cushioned chair, inhaling the sweet, earthy smoke of my copal, awaiting this vessel's return. Basically, what I'm saying is that I used to do anything but work if I could help it, just to stay alive. Maybe that's just how it goes. T.S. Eliot working at a bank well after he published, well before he became a publisher, and yet people still didn't want to talk about it. After all, there is no whimsy in your favorite poet sitting at the same overbearing desk you are, writing poetry about brokenness spurred by war while filling out deposit slips. Perhaps you'd prefer the image of your poet isolating himself at the edge of water, pondering parks and ponds while being served tea and sandwiches by his mom. It's probably a lot easier to transcend reality when you don't have to worry about where your food comes from. Hosier, Chili Peppers, Fiona Apple, Polyphia, Third Eye Blind, Nako, Alanis, Nina Simone, my many saviors on shuffle, penetrating my insanity, reaching me through over-the-ear headphones, a tether to my humanity. So sensitive to sensations, I can still feel the vibrations of footsteps approaching me. Quick, switch tabs, meticulously crafting an email. No one needs to know I've been writing it all day, stop and go. How am I supposed to transcend this whirring electricity, overpriced bottles of water, and cafeteria chicken tenders? How am I supposed to transcend all the traps this society has set for me concentrated in one place when even poetry doesn't unlock this glass and corkboard cage? It just makes it a little bit bigger. How am I supposed to do anything with blurry vision and a migraine? Transcending reality is probably a lot easier when your reality doesn't involve fluorescent lighting. It's a hard pill to swallow to admit that we created this hell ourselves. This space was never meant to be transcendental. No wonder man invented the binary of God and devil.
With the fucking knockout punchline at the end. Thank you so
Wow.
much, Crow.
Wow.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Coral Rites.
All right. Yeah. Amazing
Wow,
work.
wow.
Out
Amazing.
fucking standing.
I love the intro too. They just hop on as like, it's Coral R with a, it's Coral Rites with an R, cause I'm like, yo, you just going ham on it. It's fucking dope. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate you. Blessings to you on this wonderful bicycle day, and coming soon for y'all on the East Coast, 420. We're gonna keep the show rolling though, just like I just rolled up another joint. And next up we got Messiah Paine. Messiah, how can you be in all these timelines at once? Is it all at once, or do you take it day by day, or like, like, are you just tapped into the Akashic records? Like, how exactly does that work? Because I know you transcend time and space, bro. Like, I could hear it in your words, man. Like, explain this to us, man, on this wonderful bicycle day.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I am. It's just I am.
No idea. So, thank you for that introduction. And we'll be reading two poems. They're both newer poems. So the first is called "But What Will Happen to My Soul." At the universe's edge, after aeons of travel, transparent to death, your soul's previous conception of vitality and the meaning which once subsumed its endeavor toward vitality begins to wither. Yet your soul remains cognizant, the virtues, ambiguities, and inevitable decline of experience. an experience coarsely grounded, like an eagle that will never fly. Now, the eternal beckons. Destiny's platitude, metastatic fate. Your soul no longer lingers. Freedom is within reach. As your soul has never known such freedom, you may begin to doubt just what your soul means to you now. You may begin to observe that you never quite knew what your soul was about. Suddenly, a flash irreverent to all space-time invokes the aesthetic of a dream, where ultimate insight shatters your ponderous lament. You then realize that you are and have always been a soul, and that the nature of the soul is the meaning of the dream that is the cosmos. You realize that you've always existed as a metaphor of eternity. Upon these realizations, the cosmos beyond the universe's edge seems infinite and infinitesimal, and with a stretch, like a man who yawns after a long day's work, or Apollo reaching through the sky in his chariot, you expand with omnipotent fealty, your soul expressing the cosmic dream. The language of your soul, like the infallible words of angels, begins to illustrate your path. You have become your soul, and you, the full consciousness of soul, exhale the cosmos eternally in its cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, and dream the dream of the universe as you, the soul, rest in and express, firstly and lastly, the peace of final beauty. That was the first poem.
Wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And he's just
Thank
like, I
you.
don't know, I just am, right? Like that was fucking deep, bro. That shit was dope.
So the second poem is called The Rose and the Eternal Form. As gentility tenderly strikes the narrow ambition of repetitive, unrefined earth, a rose among the season's blight appears, enduring infinite disclosure to its filial gestation. The rose, in splendor inflecting eternal forms, conquers lack of beauty that stills our soul toward the sound of destined humanity. Or rather, the eternal form exposes the human principle on high, and the rose, a sight imbibing freedom's nectar inherent to our inner lives, or the liberation of the mind, affirms this ascent. Natural life becomes an ideation that bridges immortality to peace. As we lift the imprecise state of perception, whence our view of ugliness malformed our complete communion with the rose, with the earth, beauty emerges, sanctified, real, an impression no longer tied to transience, but regarded everlastingly as we approach our perfect fate. Fate, like the determination of the rose to grow from and into the eternal form of beauty. So we will exchange our breathless shadow, the imminence of death, to approach eternity. An isness that marries the present to exaltation, fathomed only in deep reconciliation of mind to truth. What is the truth? What is this truth? Much intellection survives in truth's stead, but contemplate the rose with levity, and you may find that the earth, in all natural penetration, knows the secret. The earth always speaks. Listen to the rose, a silent edict, the language of the universe. And the rose contemplates itself, briefly capitulated, measured in billions of years. The secret is the earth itself. The earth knows. The earth knows. Thank you.
Yo, thank you, everybody. Unmute yourselves and give it up. Messiah Paine.
Messiah, great work.
Beautifully
you.
read. Beautifully
Beautiful,
read. That was
beautiful
gorgeous.
poem. Very
Thank you so
beautiful.
much. Thank you.
I love that Rose one too. It reminds me of one of the poems. I forget which one it is, but I say something about like where fate's chosen by a mystical rose frozen in time. And then you're like talking about this like rose, and I'm like, oh, I've seen that rose. I've wrote about that rose before. It was cool, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Oh, all right. Coming up next, we have the wonderful and beautiful Marianne Tefft. Marianne,
Thank you.
if you could unmute yourself, bless us with some words. How is Julia doing? And
She
how are
is
you
doing,
doing?
thank you. I am doing just fine. Report cards behind me, which is great. And I believe my daughter is flying up from St. Martin on Tuesday. So that's very
Oh,
cool.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we're
Sweet.
definitely going in the right direction. I'd like to share two poems tonight. A year ago, I was busy having an inordinate reaction to what is normally a pretty minor surgery. And out of it came this poem called Cataract. Sliced open by light, I plunge into my darkest fears. My feet, always cold, are clammy. I wonder if the surgeon can smell them. I say I'm a poet and I will talk if I cannot write. I tell him Michael is here. My field of vision has become a spirit blue fractal plane. The archangel, and what do I know of them, has brought bougainvillea, fuchsia, and tangerine. Someone turns the kaleidoscope. I wait for the tinkling cataract of sand that resonated inside my childhood toy, but I hear only a metallic music, a faux Chet Baker. I wish the doctor had told me he was a jazz fan, like my obstetrician who bossa novaed my daughter Julia into the world with Stan and Astrid. And I remind myself to ask my dad if it was like this for him after they cut him down for dead from the swinging vine above the mill pond when he was 9, and no part of living or dying ever frightened him again. Yeah. And the second poem was inspired by something that I read, which often happens. Science and archaeology and things like that are always interesting to me. And while I'm not a person who normally prefaces the poem, I kind of wanted to with this one, because it's set at a place in the UK, which I think has a great name, a national park called Sutton Hoo. And Sutton Hoo is a 6th century burial ground, an Anglo-Saxon burial ground where a previously undisturbed ship had been found, but because the ship had been in acidic soil for 1,300 years, all that was left was the impression of perhaps a noble ship. Crimson Moon at Sutton Hoo. In those days, we did not know the things you know. We thought the crimson moon was dying of sorrow because our king had gone back to the celestial sea. When we knew his time was near, we traveled for 3 days and nights to find our solace in the ancient grove. There, we implored the great spirits of the oaks and the one he called his savior because we loved him and knew that is what he would have wanted, to help us fell the mightiest tree for his final vessel in which he would sail from this world into paradise, guided by the bright star of hope. After more than a millennium, his great ship rests in the acidic earth, but you have only his impression, a legendary flicker in the hearts of men. You will only ever know him as a shadow in the sand. Thank you.
Thank you. Those were both amazing, and thanks for the update. I'm so glad that she's flying in on Tuesday. I'm excited for you. Everybody, unmute yourselves and give all the love you have for Marianne Tefft.
Marianne,
Love you all.
fantastic.
Oh,
Love
we love
you.
you. It's so good to
Amazing
hear
work.
about your daughter. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
she's
Thank you, everybody.
coming.
Yeah, we're thrilled.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. This open mic just means the world to me and to Julia, and I'm so happy to share this continuing news with you. Thank you so much for this moment with you on Friday.
How is she doing, Marianne? I missed part of that. I sort of stepped out. How is she doing?
Great, Lantern. Thank you for asking. She was released from hospital in Panama in the middle of March, back to
Yes, I
St.
remember
Martin,
that
where she
part.
really has resumed life, and I am expecting her to come at least for a visit, if not to pick up her job again here in Toronto next week. So that's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
great news.
What a miracle. What
Yes,
a
absolute
miracle.
miracle.
Woo.
Absolute miracle. No
You give
question
her,
about it.
you give her all of our love.
I will indeed. You may count on that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have an abundance. It's
Sure
overflowing.
do. You sure do. And I have felt it, as
Well, me and
Julia has.
Lantern were
Thank you
even
so much.
speaking of it before the show started tonight. We even spoke about, you know, the miracles that a collective consciousness with people that, you know, send love and blessings, how it could really make a miracle happen, you know.
It
Enough of
does.
us ask in a poetic and beautiful enough way, and we come together that we can make miracles happen. So
Indeed.
yeah,
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everybody.
we love you. All right, so coming up next, we got my sister, which I wish I would have been at your house by now if things would have worked out the way they were supposed to. But the universe has me going all the way around this way. But trust me, when I get there, we gonna be hanging out. Debbie,
Well,
if you could
it's
unmute
it's
yourself.
another lesson in radical acceptance, of which I am like every day coping with and understanding. And
Well,
I
I
have
wanted to
two
start at
books.
Zach's, right, which is a Z.
Then you come right
Instead,
down
we
to
had to
the
go to
west.
Abbotsford, BC, to her dad's house, A, B, C, D. I was like, ah, I was literally 35 minutes away from the border. We got turned around and I go to Abbotsford, BC, to her dad's house. So I was like,
See,
okay, I
that's
got to do it
radical
this way.
acceptance. You got to
Yeah, it is.
radically
Like,
accept. It's not that you approve of it. It's not that you like it. It's just, it is what it is.
it is what it is.
And that's what I'm learning also. And I could also certainly use some love and some prayers and some good vibes as well as all
Well,
the
hold
other
on then.
poets
Before you
could
get
need.
to read, everybody
Ah.
unmute yourselves and give a bunch of love and strength and healing and
Debbie, we're sending you
Oh,
lots of
Debbie,
Yes,
hugs.
Debbie.
inspiration.
And
Send
if
her-
Thank you for
everybody
everything
could
you
put
bring
your
us.
face on camera, anybody who's not like
Oh, I don't,
naked or
I don't have a
eating, I would love to
camera.
see some actual human faces,
Darn.
but if
Yeah,
you
my
can't,
face,
you
I'm on
can't.
camera.
I'm working
Sis.
I'm
I
working
know,
to
I
get a
I heard a-
camera.
appreciate that. I
Debbie,
appreciate
I had
that.
a poem today. It was so beautiful. The guy was saying, "Fall forward." That is his approach to positivity. You're going to fall, but fall forward, whatever that means. But it's such a beautiful poem. So lots of hugs to you and support, and you know,
Thank
we all
you.
have difficulties in life. You
That's
know,
I
all
don't always
walking is, just
report,
falling forward.
I don't always broadcast it, but I'm like really, really in need of it as well. So I have two poems. Okay. And you don't have to applaud in between or ever or anything. I don't care. I'm just here to like express poetry. Okay. Broken Root. Trajectories of the tribes of Israel. I can trace the ancestral thread to New York City. I'm the firstborn daughter, baby, and I'm plain, not pretty, enmeshed by a dark, Kabbalistic knotted cord. When, like a point within a point unfurled, I was hurled into a Jewish diaspora world from a village, not a country. We don't know the name of the place from whence our DNA came. When borders moved like the tide and nomadic peoples wandered over many countrysides, pushing onward, no place to hide. But I digress. Atlantic Ocean passage taken by baby Bela at 2 years old. He travels from the old country to Ellis Island, where his name's changed to Ben, my maternal grandfather, assimilated, absorbed. He works in the garment district, then educates himself. By the time I am born, he is a CPA. 60 years later, if the oracle had been asked, in the new world, who would Deborah be? Miracle baby. I'd be a heretic burned at the stake, drowned in a lake in the old country. Or perhaps I'd be a publicist, phlebotomist, a hooker, or junkie in New York City. But I'm on the left coast in Berkeley, putting on my knee socks and Mary Janes, ready to go to kindergarten in the spitting fall rain. It's the 60s, and mom wears a girdle. Dad smokes Winston's, drives a Chevy, and wears a tie. They have 3 daughters. Another 60 years pass by, and I have aged in this very same place by the grace of fate. On the edge of unceded Ohlone lands, I stand by Pacific waters where I've seen playful otters splashing in the waters, known on maps as San Francisco Bay. Was it all a mistake? 15 million Jewish people of the almost 10 billion human beings alive on Earth. And inexplicably, here is me of Jewish ethnicity, drinking Pete's Major D coffee beneath an olive tree in the California town now called Berkeley. And all because Bitty Baby Bela took that trip on an ocean liner ship, and from his tiny loins came my mother, a native New Yorker, born into a new world of freedom, life, and liberty. Why was this trajectory allowed? I may never know. As one of the few living Jews, I will do my best to show up and be kind, but it isn't up to me. There must be some design, because I'm not that important. Others are smarter than I. Maybe it's all chance, mere entropy, or postmodern decadence. Haven't I read somewhere, the observer is the observed and the dancer is the dance? And this one is my Bicycle Day poem, entitled Bicycle Day, because I am one of the few living Jewish people alive on the planet who has the opportunity to do things like enjoy Bicycle Day. Albert Hoffman rode home on his bike. First documented acid trip. Golden key in his hand, unlocked visibility goggles. He glimpsed uninterrupted stream, fantastic pictures, extraordinary shapes, kaleidoscopic play of colors. His problem child had been set aside 5 years. Imagine a colorless potion rippling and swirling in a beaker. Premier psychedelic mythology happened by mistake. This legendary demigod scientist tripping in the Swiss Alps, bicycling home from his laboratory after unplanned ingestion of medicine for the soul. Michael Pollan reported the results of his experiment with the molecule in How to Change Your Mind, detailing its attributes as a biological control-alt-delete, which occasionally causes psychedelic behavior in people who have not taken it, warned the outlaw oracle, Dr. Timothy Leary. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. And one more time, everybody give it up for Debby Segal. I posted the link to the first episode of Heart of the Artist, which came to be on a New Year's Eve while on LSD. And we did it like the next day, and it was like, it just became this beautiful thing. So thank you so much again, Debbie, for setting us
Thank
off
you,
with that,
Debbie. Thank you,
and
and
thank
good
you.
thoughts to you.
Yeah, Debbie,
Whoop, whoop.
buy the book.
Get that book.
Yes, thank you so much, Debbie. Oh my God.
Put the book info in the chat again, Debbie.
All right, so coming up next, we've got my brother Atlas from New Orleans. You in New Orleans still, brother? It looks like you was at a coffee shop on the side of a coffee shop. I seen you let your hair down some. It's scaring me. Don't tell me you cut it, or is that just the bangs? You still got your full, or did you? Oh no, you cut it, didn't you? My hair's longer than yours now. Oh wait. Oh yeah, you cut it. Oh no, you didn't. He had it folded up. I don't know. I might be getting. I'm getting there, brother. I'm getting there. Yeah, if you could bless us with some words, man, I miss you, brother. If you could bless us with some words, I'd really appreciate it. Let us know what's going on in the Atlas verse too, man. My wife is telling me all types of shit. You about to get started going, like breaking a world record, and like she's like, "Yo, Atlas is like, you down? We doing this? So what's up, man? What you been up to?"
Well, I mean, last time I was on here, you had me telling jokes for like an hour and a half. So,
I couldn't help it. You were too damn funny,
well,
dude.
everybody fell asleep because that's what every comedian wants to know, that their jokes are so good that people can fall asleep while they're listening to them. So, thanks, appreciate that. Uh, Hold on. Um, I'm gonna do the provocations. Those like short sort of thoughts. I realize it becomes confusing because there's like no finality to them and they're not as long as a piece. Um, I also don't know if I've done this one in a while, and there's a lot of people here. So okay, I'll do a rhymey poem. Um, one second.
I love your mental selection process, by the way. I just watched you jump through like 30
I write a lot, and then I keep a spreadsheet so that I don't repeat things
Yeah.
depending on the mics I go to. But then I kind of try and keep track of how many people in the audience have heard that because I want to have the utmost respect for everyone's time and attention. I don't write like 60 poems a week like Lantern Care or anything. Some of us stop to sleep and eat, but I don't know what I think he just survives on creativity or something. This is called I Once Was. They carried me through town like a trophy they just won. They got nothing but compliments and congratulations from everyone. As a baby, they could hardly wait for the moment I could walk. Then they would repeat words as a way to teach me how to talk. My parents were determined to prove I was the greatest kid. They made me feel so special and praised everything I did. But they and many after them had a completely different plan, which is where my disdain for human beings truly all began. I thought the sky was the limit until the day that I was grounded. How could you embarrass me like that? Oh, how those words resounded. The lesson started on that day, but it was some time before I'd see that I would constantly seek approval and permission to be me. I guess my parents had gaps in their life that they wanted me to fill. Their lost hopes and ambitions were disguised as my free will. I salvaged scraps of self-esteem to the few good people I met. They weren't reminding me how stupid I was, which made it easy to forget. I had to learn to prioritize and compromise intellect for looks, gave up on my imagination as I disposed of all my books. I used to have such great conversations until that day I got a phone and I became more disconnected with every new gadget I owned. So desperate for a comforting voice, but there was no one I could call. Because everyone's busy being busy, but none of them were busy at all. So uncomfortable with silence, they'd force themselves to speak, but never, ever of their feelings for fear of looking weak. When I told friends I was free of debt, they thought it was a joke. I didn't know that I was broken. I was happy being broke. A way to make new friends. I thought social media would be fun, but as I amassed hundreds of friends, I felt like I had none. When I tried to share my thoughts with others, they made me feel like I was rude. No one allowed my voice to be heard, so I simply silenced it with food. My train ride to work was the only socializing I had left, but cell phones and headphones made everyone blind and deaf. I once thought I had a purpose, but I replaced it with a job. I could have been my own great machine, but now I'm my boss's favorite cog. Hoping for human contact, I ventured to a crowded mall, but automatic doors, faucets, and lighting meant I touched nothing at all. But it seems like everyone goes shopping whenever they get bored, their pockets filled with credit cards to buy what they know they can't afford. No matter where you look, there are ads relentlessly shoved in your face because if you're not constantly buying something, then you're just a waste of space. I have memories from all sorts of places that apparently no one knows because they all became places to eat or somewhere to buy bigger clothes. Whenever I was in pain, I cried. Now I just swallow a pill, because whatever people don't understand, they only seek to kill. I stopped saying when I grow up the moment I realized I was grown, so when I lost permission to be a child, I just had one of my own. A car, an address, a house full of stuff, but all I really have is debt because I replaced resourcefulness with insurmountable regret. I thought I knew something about life. Apparently I was wrong, because instead of living twice as often, we should just live twice as long. A glorified storage unit is what I'm now forced to call my home. Irrevocable envy for the homeless, because at least they are free to roam. Think whatever you will of me, but this was all that I could do to summarize my tragedy in a letter signed sincerely, you and you and you. Thank you.
Yo, thank you, Atlas. Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for my brother Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas.
Right,
Ariel.
Atlas.
Wonderful to hear
Man.
your words, Atlas.
It seemed to come
Yeah, it's
so
good seeing
easy
you
to
again.
you.
Yeah, nice to see you on a Friday. This is great.
Definitely.
This is a really beautiful community, and I think that COVID's 4 years old, you guys. Do you realize that? 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we were under such intense fear that we didn't know if we would make it till tomorrow, and that was 4 years ago. And some of us, unfortunately, didn't make it to tomorrow. But 4 years ago, we were all like locked in, and these opportunities were really plentiful. And then people just started to like gravitate towards it, and they started to curate their schedules to evenings like this. And sadly, a lot of them have came and went. And I think it's really beautiful that despite the obstacles that everyone here faces, especially the hosts, this is so important enough for you guys to make the time to share the space, to bring the words, to divulge your deepest, darkest secrets, feelings, wounds. I am really, really grateful for this space and the people who continue to nurture it. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
That
you for
was
those
beautiful.
wonderful
Thank
words,
you very
Atlas.
much.
Yeah, thank
Atlas, you're a great human being, man. I've followed your work, and we need a lot of people like you,
Yeah,
man.
like he's not just a poet or a comedian or like
Yeah,
a inspirational speaker or like someone who goes out and like that. Like
yeah,
Alice is just doing so many cool things. Like
yeah.
if y'all don't know what Atlas is up to, like you guys need to keep track. I can hardly keep track because he's always going around doing like all these cool ass projects, and he has
Yeah,
he sent me all the documents of all the projects he's done different like, and so it's just
Wow.
like it's amazing what him as
yeah,
one
yeah,
man is out there doing.
yeah,
He's Atlas Collective, right? But like yeah, he's got his team with them, but like he's out there doing it and coming up with the ideas and making sure they're done. And
yeah,
Alice, my wife and I, that's why we leave your name in nature like all over the
yeah,
place.
yeah.
We send
Needs to
him
be
pictures
applauded, man.
constantly,
Needs to
like
be applauded. Yeah.
Atlas,
yeah,
you gave us like an hour and a half of comedy,
jokes. Yo,
stand
people
up.
weren't passing out. It was just
I
late. They
was
were leaving, but
falling off of my
yeah.
chair. That was like $100 worth of like the ticket
Oh, it
you
was
just sold
fucking
that
great.
comedy for was like high end. I'm laughing
Mama
now.
was there. I was just enjoying
Yeah, you
every
kept my
minute.
mom up
Oh
like
my
way
gosh.
past her
I stayed
bedtime.
up
It's not like
late for
everyone
that.
passed out listening to you. It's no, you
Yeah, I
kept
was
everyone
so
awake
tired.
to listen as long as they could until literally they passed out laughing their ass off. So we really appreciate that. Don't see it as something bad. It was something great, man, and we really appreciate it, brother. We do. Yeah, check out the link tree, all that, man. Like Atlas, I appreciate you as a human being, and I don't know if say that enough to you, and I need to message you more and let you know
I
that because I
mean,
truly do, man. Like,
true transparency, uh, the problem with ambition is that I can experience disappointment exponentially compared to some people. And
feels, man.
I I say this without exaggeration. The last week has been the most difficult week of my life, and I am just trying my best to push through. Some of you may know that my niece died of a drug overdose. I wrote a lot about it. I shared some about it. And her father, dealing with the depression, ironically, also died of a drug overdose. Her son, who's 4, his father is in prison for selling drugs. And so because of drugs, my 4-year-old nephew, Isaiah, has no mother, no father, no grandfather, and no grandmother. And suicide is, they say accidental overdose, even when these hip hop artists in their lyrics, like
There are
plenty of
oh, I'm
people,
gonna yeah.
they're like very aggressive about this is how I'm going to go. But obviously there's a sense of shame associated with the family. And so sadly, they have the right to disclose the cause of death. And even if it is suicide, they don't have to disclose that. So if you look at the staggering numbers of suicide, what's scary is not how high those numbers are. What's really scary is that they are actually much higher, but people don't disclose
Well,
it. And
I myself have a spreadsheet of people who I've lost to overdose, and I'm not lying. You can ask my mother; she knew most of them, and like it was rampant. It was a pandemic. Like before the COVID, it was, and it still to this day is fentanyl and fucking heroin overdoses, and people getting clean and thinking they could still do what they were doing, and or suicide by or anything. It's just it's a horrible thing, man. Like
and so not to commandeer
Yeah,
this
you
mic,
lost a
and
lot of friends.
I
A lot
lost
of
a
people.
lot, bro. Like I got an
yeah,
Excel spreadsheet trying to like deal with compacted grief and stuff, man. Like I lost a lot. People that I love to that shit, man.
and so I thought I had this reservoir of karma. I do believe in karma, and I there's of all the things that I've done for complete strangers, I don't even keep a tally. Let's just say it's a lot. I would dare to say, without exaggeration, a third of the money I've ever made, I've given in some small way to others. And I lost my job. I'm about to lose my house. And this is like the worst situation I've ever found myself in. And I don't know if it's naive. I can't tell the difference between like delusion, naivety, and optimism, truthfully, at this point. But as a man who's constantly rescuing others, I find myself in need of rescuing as well. And then, but I've heard someone say you never go broke by giving. Like I'm continuing to try and live
Yeah.
in that mantra. But it's been really challenging. And unfortunately, my story is not uncommon. Some of the most giving people I know, some of the most thoughtful, generous people I know are the ones that have very little to no resources of their own. They give their last dollar so they have hundreds more. And what bothers me is not the predicament I've put myself in. What bothers me is that it's limiting my ability to do what I feel I'm called to do, which is to help others, because I can't even keep myself afloat. But it's great to share, and that's why I made a point to be here tonight. And
I would build yourself first, and never forget prayer. When you rise in the morning, offer gratitude. Feel that you're merely an instrument of something higher, and always try to build on your inner strength. There's a spiritual law which says, if we do not have, we cannot give. And that applies to so many things. You can, giving is, the Buddhists describe it in so many ways. You can give with a smile. You can help a woman across the street. You can give physically, emotionally, as well as financially. You can give through prayers. There's so many ways to give. But you have to, spiritual life is a very selfless life. It's always 100% self first.
Yeah, I agree. I
I
think
hope that makes sense.
no, I've given that advice to others. I say, ironically, the best way to be selfless is to be selfish, because if you put everyone else on your to-do list before you might never get to you. And that causes you to harbor resentment and regret. But if you make sure that your needs are met, then you do find yourself having a surplus of energy, time, and resources. But if you're on the bottom, and I mean, I've said that to others, it's difficult. It's difficult
Well, the
to.
higher the consciousness is, the more you take humans with you. But if the consciousness, think about it, if the consciousness is low, whom can you carry with you? So you
Well,
yourself must be in a good
just
space. I've been to Africa several times, and when I talk to the kids in the slum, I don't talk about spirituality at all. I ask them about football and how they're doing with things and what things that would uplift them. You have to bring the person to a space where they become receptive first before you do anything else.
Yeah, just reflect on that, just to draw that line. You know, Lantern Carrier has so many encouraging paths that he opens up with what he says. But, you know, I would say reflect on the fact, Atlas, that you're here now. You've made it here now, despite all of these losses. And you've done that by putting one foot in front of the other. And you mentioned, you know, you don't know if it's optimism, delusion, and so forth. Forget all of that. Just rely on the conviction you have. You call it a belief. I'm a big person for belief, but you know yourself very well. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to get through all these travails. You're here now. So you obviously have the wherewithal to continue. And the thing is, you know, a lot of time it's like driving on the freeway. You can't pay attention to what's right there at the end of the hood of your car. You got to look way ahead down at the horizon and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you'll get there.
I love that you mentioned the one foot in front of the other, because I'm pretty sure this is why we had started the conversation was about falling, right? Or falling forward, right? Well, walking is just essentially falling forward and then catching yourself with every step, right? You're throwing your body forward and you're just putting one foot in front of the other, and you're gonna keep going and you just keep pushing through it, keep doing it. Alice, I relate. My wife and I got evicted. Like we're homeless basically. We're staying with our dads right now in BC. All of our stuff's in Abbotsford, like 2 hours away. Like we're trying to make things happen, but if we just keep letting that next step catch and that next step catch, then we'll be able to, spread love and art and poetry throughout the whole world, man. Make this world a better place. So that's what we're trying to do up in here. And we got somebody who's trying to do that up in here next. Thanks for the conversation time. Peace, y'all. But we got to keep the show going. We still have a few more poets that wants to go. And Maddie's gonna be headed, I think, or she already did. But yeah, coming up next, we got next week's feature. Next Friday, we got Principe Guity Jr. is gonna do a feature set for us. I'm really excited for that. Principe, yeah, if you can bless us with some word, brother, I'd appreciate it.
His first poem is called Ashes. I came into the world as an entity. My ashes will proliferate in poetry. I grew from silent places, hidden corners. My childhood was spent alone, as if I was a castaway. Now I'm grown. There's a loud tone layered in my words. No bone to pick. Time goes tick-tock. Every endless second. Remember me for my rifle words, quivering the unseen spirits of people. My words are post-harmonious ashes. That's the third poem. That poem is called Word Fall from the Sky. Like magic, words fall from the sky. They stay shooting. The voluminous vault of words. Sometimes it comes in a row, like tic-tac-toe, filling out vacant spots, like cars and lots. With words like that, I have to follow the creative covenant with action. Just to write in the caption of my soul, thank you. I shoot starry words like Lava hot comments. It rips droplets of tears from blurry eyes, created by visceral feelings. Words are power. Thank you.
Yo, thank you, Principe. Everyone, unmute yourselves and give it up for Principe Guity Jr. Yo, that shit was fire.
All right, Principe. Amazing.
Yeah,
So many
Principe,
great
looking forward
lines.
to your feature.
Woohoo!
Yeah, really. Not gonna miss that feature.
Thank you.
So dope, man. He got it figured out, man. He at the end of the poetry game. He got the final code written in that book. I know it. I know it. Coming up next, we got Shockie G been popping in and out, and I had Shockie tentative because I didn't know they was gonna be reading. So like, Shockie, you got a poem you could drop for us or two? Like,
Yeah, I guess so.
ah,
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I can. Hold on. Let me mute my TV. For some reason. And Atlas, I just wanted to say that I'm sending good vibes your way. I wish I could, fix it, but I can't. But sending good vibes to you anyway. Because you're one of my dope peoples. So I have two pieces. One's really short though. First one is called March Madness. Oh, sorry, my cat. March Madness has always been my favorite time of year. I remember being glued to my TV, all of Diana Taurasi. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna start over. I don't know what that was about. March Madness has always been my favorite time of year. I remember being glued to my TV Diana Taurasi's senior year. How I never missed highlights because they were always running. And this year, I watched the South Carolina team go undefeated, win the chip, and the news articles posted pictures of the losing team instead. And I'm reminded how black skin can never be too great, how they rather a shot than a shooter, rather celebrate cutting down a noose than a championship net. But don't we always march? It ain't that madness. All right, and this next one is called Introverted Millennial Friendship. And hopefully this doesn't mess up my phone while I'm doing it. Hey Siri, thank you. I know you're not real, but I have this overwhelming need for everyone to like me. I hate feeling like a burden. I wouldn't have asked if I wasn't in a rush. Probably could have typed it into Google. I'm sorry, I should have managed my time better. I get so stuck in my head sometimes. Hey Siri, can you find Black therapists in my area? Is therapy even helpful? How many Black people commit suicide? What is the cost of a burial these days? Hey Siri, I'm spiraling again. Can you play a song to make me feel better? Thank you. Some say writers are just amazing poets. Oh, some say songwriters are just amazing poets. Hey Siri, what does it mean to be a successful poet? What is the definition of successful? A poet? Are you still a poet if no one listens? Hey Siri, what is imposter syndrome? How do you get rid of it? Better yet, what if it's right? What if I'm wrong? Hey Siri, how do I make everyone love me? Anybody love me? Shit, how do I love me? Siri, what is love? No, not song lyrics. Siri, what is this? Aren't you supposed to have all the answers? Damn it, Siri. Can you just read me a poem? Remind me why I do this. Hey Siri. Thank you.
Yo, hey Siri, everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Shockie G in lieu of flowers. Make sure y'all get that. Shockie dropped the clothing line links to the website, everything, Instagram. We love you. I'm sure everyone here knows you already, but if you don't know, now you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was moving.
This Siri piece is that's classic.
Thanks.
Indeed, a classic piece.
So dope, man.
That was
I
so
appreciate it.
real, so beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
I'll be telling Siri to put that shit on repeat. Hey Siri, put Shockie G on.
Woo,
Yeah,
Shockie.
yeah. All right. Thank you so much for reading. I know you was popping in and out. I'm glad that you got to drop some pieces, man. I miss you, homie. Like, miss hearing your word. I know you out. I see you on stage all the time, and I'm like, I'm not like a. But yeah, I'm I'm grateful that you came through and read some poetry for us. Thank you. Coming up next, we've got Miss Terri Rose. Terry, if you could unmute yourself and
Hey,
bless us with some words, I greatly appreciate it.
hey, what's that?
How
I
you
can know it's
doing?
bicycle day. I don't know nothing about anything, man. I'm out of loop. Um, hey, Shockie, before you go, are you still here? Do you want to do that Pilates? Want to practice it?
Wait, y'all got a collab piece y'all can do?
We do, but we have never done it in public.
Oh, bless us, please, if you would, Shocky.
She just didn't want to do it. She's gone.
No, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Oh, she's
I'm trying to find because you didn't type it out. You just like sent me a picture. I'm trying to find that.
Yeah, I wrote it. Are we gonna do it?
Yeah, we can if you want. I just gotta find it.
Yes,
Take
I do
your
want.
time, find it. Fuck yeah,
I
we
have it.
all
I
want.
could give me the screen share and I'll pull it up. Except it's not all together. It's on like 4 different pages.
Oh, there, I gave you a screen share if you wanna.
However, Shockie wants to do it. I have all these things. I'm gonna find it through my. Here we go. Here it is. That's the first one. Yep, that's the first one. You want to just read it and I'll pull it up piece by piece?
Okay.
Here you go first.
All right. It's no secret.
For one thing, I don't keep them.
I don't write erotica, probably because I don't get pussy.
Unless we are in the bedroom where love languages are written.
So the ink in my pen dries up, goes limp, excretorial dysfunction.
Yet the source of life overflows the well, begging for your tongue instead of your pen.
Haven't quite figured out how to turn poem pleasure.
If you can't give me pleasure, I will take your pain. That's not the end, but there's more. Hang on, I gotta.
Did y'all do this in person?
This is the first time we're doing this.
No, but I mean, did y'all write it in person or in a?
No, she wrote. She wrote her piece, and then I wrote to it.
Oh, okay.
Page 2. Go ahead.
Notebook staring back at me, naked, spread eagle.
Anticipating penetrating statements.
She says, would it help if I lick the tip?
Oral stimulation, bringing forth the flow.
Promise, I'm willing to try anything if it helps fill her pages.
Promises are not required. No contractual obligations here.
Sometimes I slide my fingers up and down her spine.
I pass you glasses to help you read between my lines. Hang on, there's more. Because this is just, problematic because I have to keep going and finding the next page. And my
Stop it.
We'll wait as long as we have to. This is great.
And it's at the bottom of all my darn vacation pictures, which is a pain in the neck.
Oh, you can show us those too.
Oh, well, we'll be here all night with that. Go ahead.
Lick and thumb her corners for good measure.
Mouthfuls of pleasure heaped on the page.
She says, take me from the back.
I want to feel your words differently.
So I turn her over and start her poem from the end.
Hitting my A, B, C, D, E, F, G spot.
She says, give her every inch, and I got pentameters she ain't ready for.
This can't end before it begins. Take me to the floor. There's one more. I have to get this all on one page so I don't have to keep doing it. It's crazy. Okay, here's the last one.
Right there, don't stop. I explode in poem all across her belly.
There, and there.
Just the way she likes it.
The way she really doesn't know what she wants.
She begs me to spend the night. I can't.
She can't she can't begin to fathom the weight of her words.
Wants me to love her. I won't.
Love is complicated.
Feel anything. I don't.
If this is anything other than physical.
But I'll be back tomorrow. We toxic, and she likes it like that.
If that is all it is, then it is enough. And home.
We toxic. She like it like that. Yo, Shockie, you yo, Terri, y'all, that shit was dope. Yo, like, thank you so much for premiering that. Everybody, unmute yourselves and get up for Terri Rose and Shockie G.
Yeah, tremendous premiere. Wow, what a collab.
And Marianne hit it to like, it's so cool seeing the handwritten, you know, in the back and forth that it took y'all to get there. Like, I think it was the 4th page, some like, hit it from the back. I want to see it from a different, or I want to hear your words from a different angle. I'll start from the end of your poem. Like, yo, what? That shit was dope. Thank you so much for that, y'all. Yeah. So coming up next on the mic, then, we got the Cosmic himself, Cozzy Coz. Yo, Cozzy, can you blow our minds real quick, man? I'd really appreciate it, brother.
I'll try. I'll try. What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing tonight or today, depending upon where y'all at? All right. So, excuse me. I have a piece. Some of y'all may have heard, probably have heard, titled "My Name." My name? Well, see, Honesty is the name of my loyal twin brother. Our father's name is Honor, and Integrity is our mother. Excuse me. Every single day, we make it a distinct privilege to tacitly rectify our way down to the virtue of Truth Avenue, which is only one tribute away from Kuth Boulevard, right around the morals of Ethics Street. As we reached our veneration, we noticed Trust was arguing with dishonesty. They've never gotten along. Finally, our righteousness intervened between the two. Dependably, we got the two to uphold the symbiotic prestige merited by nobility's propriety. Kudos to their mutual decorum, by the way, but it didn't end there. Unbeknownst to us at the time, disloyalty had been sneakily eavesdropping on the commendability respectfully reached between the two warring factions. But he wasn't alone. His two cohorts' deceit and trickery wryly aided and abetted his blatantly disrespectful indignities. With no compunction, all three wily frauds wantonly tried infiltrating our upstanding characters by deviously hiding their ulterior motives and agendas to schemingly corrupt our majestic divination. But their insidiously underhanded transgressions were no contention for our justifiably dignified worthiness. See, we can be crafty too. We slyly convinced cunning and guile to ruse for us. We fooled them into cheating their own greed. See, my name is a justice which delegates the legislative order from which decency has been cosmically derived, while being infinitely ordained by the celestially sanctioned regulations of which it has been formally comprised. Lawfully decreed by a universally directed edict which has behest that this executive writ be uncompromisingly authorized to systematically enact these warranted stipulations. See, here's the situation. Righteousness has respectfully mandated that every prestigiously commendable virtue of truism be justifiably implemented into my inherently esteemed title. Therefore, my venerably noble dignity is highly regarded as a reputably honorable distinction, reverently worthy of exalted praise, such as that in the Bible. Ethically determining that the survival of my honor's glory is absolutely vital to the moral integrity recognized in the benevolence of my arrival, making these injunctive commandments the principal statutes which laudably regulate the dictated ordinances of my spiritual revival, which to me is more than primal, existing to overcome the deplorably annihilating clobberings while overthrowing the oppressively controlling subjugations which violently silence the socially sovereign solidarities of our veritably vanquished voices, valiantly commencing the commensurately vindicating chaos viably considered to be humanity's rebirth, one of our very few and limited choices. That is my name, also known as Cozzy Coz.
AKA Cozzy Coz. Yo, Coz, I think we should do the little collab that we were working on that we did freestyle. Cause
We
we
didn't
almost
finish
do
it.
it around. I know we got a couple verses though if you want to give them a preview.
Oh man, I don't even know if I'm ready for that.
All right, we'll do it some other time. We'll get on that. We'll do it some other time then. Hey, everybody, or if you got another small piece you could bless us with, I'd appreciate it.
Small, well, kind of the same. All right, this is new shit then.
Whatever,
Actually,
yeah. New. I love wet paint. Do it up.
hold up. I gotta look. Come on, where is it? Hello. Here it goes. Okay. This is titled Dear Poetry. Dear Poetry, how dare you? How dare you reach down into the deepest darknesses of my soul and expose the insidious harshness that's been repeatedly forced to uphold? You have no right to divulgently disclose or indecently unfold my most secretly untold intimacies, which I find to be so brutally blatant and beyond brazenly bold of you. Because anything I ever told you was in the coldest of clandestine confidence for you to behold as a sanctified sacrament of me manifesting my predestined prominence. You've made it more than blatantly obvious that I can no longer trust or confide in you. I lied to myself by thinking I could hide all of my vulnerability and fallen pride in you. I thought you were my tried and true friend, and whom I could pour my entire heart and mind into, but then you went and betrayed the absolute hell out of my trust when I tried to pretend that when I cried to you, my life wouldn't come to such an abrupt end. So now what do? I thought you were my ride or die boo, and now I can't even skip to my loo like I used to like to. You exploited my inhibitions and manipulated my intuition into some kind of evil rendition for the world to opportunistically see. You inspired the woe in me, as if I've gotten tired of listening to Jodeci. And although Argentina had heroically tried, ultimately, it was Susanna who stoically cried woefully for going to Alabama with a hopelessly broken banjo on my knee. Hopefully, neither one will jokingly cry wolf or openly lie simply to cajolingly try to coax a poor little old oxen free. And considering the withering, weeping willows that wept as they kept quivering in their pillows' miserably blithering depths, I'm figuring, let me not overthink or overstep while on the brink of holding my breath and quit lingering in the languish of another's hindering configurings. So instead, I've opted to choose the one and only option of adopting a new concoction of optimistic views to put into opportunistic use as a means to subconsciously diffuse the more than pompously obnoxious abuse which I refuse to even plausibly amuse. And to think I could have ever been so wrongfully accused of being so sorrowfully confused, for seeing this life as a device of a poorly contrived ruse. I feel so battered and bruised, shattered and screwed, scattered like the Mad Hatter splattered with the blues. I figured even if I lose, I would still win, standing still in the wind that's been killing my kin by inhibiting my wins and indiscriminately spilling my sins, which have been infinitely filled to the brim. Jesus, I can't believe this. You ought to be ashamed of such a needlessly egregious act by which you have left me so sleeplessly speechless and grievously in pieces. I hope this thesis reaches the deepest depths of your breaches, most heartless breaches, before pigs begin to fly and hell goes ahead and freezes. Thank you.
Yo, Cozzy, man. Like I said, the world ain't ready for you, bro. You on some next level. Like I have a vendetta against thesauruses and dictionaries because they seem like they have beat you up and cornered you one night, just put all those words in your head and you can just juggle them around like that. Like yo.
Great work, Cos. Just great.
Damn, so
Yeah.
good.
The first piece was kind of like Cozzy swagger, when you tell people who you are.
Yeah.
The second piece brought tears to my eyes, Cozzy. It brought tears to my eyes. So yeah, keep going. So important what you're doing. I hope you know it's important to me.
Yeah. Important to the world, man. Y'all check out his YouTube channel for sure. YouTube.com/Cozzy Coz, of course. Big us. Make sure if you don't know, now you know. Cozzy be blowing minds since way back when. We love you, fam. I call you my brother for a reason. You know what I mean?
Word. Yes, sir. Word.
All right. So it looks like we have one last person on our list, and we're going into round two. So to close out the recording and close out the night. Faizan back in the house. I missed you, brother. I ain't seen you in a while. Looks like you gained 2 inches on your beard and 10 inches on your waist. Where you been at, bro?
Okay, thank you, I guess.
I love you. I'm just playing. I just miss you. I'm poking fun because I miss you.
No, I missed you. I missed you guys too. Yeah, it's been on a hiatus, but yeah, April is my season. Yeah, so like I've been trying to do the poem a day challenge. But I'm just like taking it easy though. Yeah, so but yeah, I'm excited. I have I'm gonna share a piece with you guys I wrote recently. And then a poetry comic that I made. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, this one is I haven't titled it yet, but whatever. Stay away and strike me down. Blood hangs limply from fresh wounds, swirling into puddles of clotted indifference, frozen ruby whirlpools stuck in drains. I'm funneled raw like cake, coated in powdered sugar, and left to dry before a picky child's tantrum. In the muggy air, I grow stale and stagnant as I wait to digest in somebody's stomach. Inside waves of peristaltic regression, I invert my consciousness into my inner child. And I hate to say no to he who suffered at the ripe old age of 3, dying on his knees, his throat violated until he could only swallow his screams, along with the semen of his babysitter, my innocence long forbidden. I've only ever wanted to forgive, after having forgotten for 3 decades of life, but I don't know how. Every day I struggle under the weight of the cruel satisfaction that others have taken from all of us who couldn't speak, couldn't say no. Even if we did, they wouldn't listen. Even if we fought, we were harmed. Even if we gave in, they didn't care. Why divide us versus them? We must know and understand that we couldn't have done this to ourselves. Child, no, it wasn't you. It wasn't us. It wasn't fate. It wasn't karma. It was inheritance. The shame of trauma passed on, unspoken and unseen, hurt people making a choice to hurt an other. There is no such thing as hurting another to heal oneself. There is no justice for what has been irrevocably lost. The only justice I know of is protection. Unpacking and releasing resentment is empathic listening, genuine compassion, respect for boundaries and consent, honesty and integrity. All clearly too much to ask of much of humanity, but we must speak anyways. We cultivate our gardens of truths nourished with experience, and our thoughts are the harvests of everything we cultivate. Choose how you grow and how you are chosen. You are a bounty. You are life itself. I only wish for all of us to choose true empathy.
Yo, Faizan. Um, I'm very much an empath, but I think if no one was empathic or had any empathy, that the way you delivered that poem would make even the most hardened like sociopath feel empathy. Like you fucking captured it with that poem. Like for sure. That was dope, man. That was a work of art, man. That was,
Hey,
Thank you.
I just want to say, that piece really hit, and I want to invite you tomorrow. I have a poetry event that I'm doing called Holding Space. And essentially it's holding space for survivors of sexual assault as it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I have 4 featured readers who are survivors themselves, but then we're going to have time to like an open mic, and you can also just talk about your story and we can hold space for you. So if that's something you're interested in, please come through.
Yeah, I would love that. Please send me the details or put them in the chat. And yeah, but I really appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I just want to share, I guess, one more piece real quick, and then I'll be out of your guys' hair. Is it okay if I share my screen,
yeah, I gave
Thomas?
you co-host. You should have the.
Oh, sweet. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so this is just visuals, no sound, but yeah, this is another poem that wrote earlier this month. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, can you guys see? Oh, can you guys see now?
Yeah.
All right,
I
awesome.
had my thumbs up. I just didn't know if you could see or hear me. But yeah,
Sorry, no,
you're good.
I can see now. Okay. A world ashamed. As this stage of life ends and transforms me again, I become a tsunami of paralysis, drenching this world. I can enthrall with epic magnificence and carry daredevil surfers on my frothy crests, scraping the glass sky with their fingernails. Yet as soon as I collapse, I descend and consume thousands of souls who completely disappear, leaving the survivors to thaw, surrounded by the carnage of negligence and isolation. I never wanted this. I never wanted to freeze, trigger, or destroy anyone at all. I never asked to exist. I tell myself that I'm making way and fertilizing the soil and washing away corruption. I tell myself that death is just as natural as I am, but none of it helps. I am afraid of my own dangerousness. My volatility is lethal and obscene. I am shame in liquid form. I dare you to swallow your choked down tears of me. You can't escape me now. The world has been submerged. I have replaced air with my ubiquity. You are made of me. So swim. I dare you. Please.
Yo, Faizan, that shit was dope, man. I loved the images you chose for each line on that. And like, everyone, unmute yourselves and give it up for Dr. Faizan.
Powerful,
Her
Doc.
work. Wow. Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Really, truly.
Oh,
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
guys
so
so much. I
much.
appreciate y'all so much. I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end the recording here. So say goodnight, open minds, and we'll go on to round two.
Good night.
Love you guys. Thanks for coming through.
Love you all. Good
sure.
night.
Good night. Same. Good night, everybody. See you soon.